within 7 days of this, cook up 1 or 2 excuses, and the Court of Appeal are very committed to the ideas of fair hearing and justice, and you to preserve your right of constitutional right of appeal will still have allowed you. But did they do that? This is also in tandem with the decision of the Supreme Court in the case of Governor of Zamfara State and others versus Yalangi and others, 2012 LPLR 9715 Supreme Court, which is to the effect that such provision cannot remedy an appeal which is dismissed for lack of diligent prosecution. If the Lagos State government felt aggrieved by the 9th October 2017 ruling, remember now, it took them 3 years. 2014 thing was struck out. They came back and it took 3 years. 2017 had the option of challenging the ruling of the court and having it set aside its order by bringing an application pursuant to Order 6 Rule 10 Court of Appeal rules, as you have said. This can only be done within 14 days after the ruling. Again, this was not done. At least there is no evidence that this was done. Even if the government of Lagos State obstinately, though erroneously, believe it has an existing appeal, it's only expected that it should have taken steps to prosecute the appeal since 9th October 2017. Gentlemen, I hope you are following. That assuming that it even believes erroneously, what have they been doing since 2017? Nothing. Instead, after the Court of Appeal ruling of 9th October 2017 rendered the defective record of appeal irredeemable and the appeal still born, the state government are continuing to parade a non-existing appeal. This is Jankara practice. Lagos State government is doing Jankara. Abuse their powers as executive, insult the judiciary, extort money from people by saying, oh, we have a pending appeal. Which appeal? They are continuing to parade a non-existing appeal as a basis for flouting the judgment of a court of competent jurisdiction. It is pertinent to note that the Lagos State government claimed that in a statement that the Federal High Court did not specifically or expressly grant the injunction sought in the matter. This is what the Honorable Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice Lagos State, Moyosoro Onigbanjo Esquire, SCN, was saying about 10 days ago. If we are to accept this position as correct, then the Attorney General, Onigbanjo SCN, claimed that the order of the Federal High Court did not specifically or expressly grant the injunction sought. Then the question is that then, what are you appealing? If you say according to you, there was nothing granted, there was nothing expressly granted, then why did you go to Court of Appeal? You see, this is trying to be clever by half and speaking from two sides of the mouth, approbating and reprobating, and this will not be allowed. If we are to accept this position as correct, I reiterate, then the question will be, what orders did the government of Lagos State seek to stay when it applied for stay of execution of the judgment of the Federal High Court? Only the learned Attorney General, very learned Attorney General, and government of Lagos State can answer this question. Based on the foregoing, we reiterate our position that the collection of tolls on the toll gate is illegal, and because of the substantive judgment of the subject matter on the subject of the substantive judgment of the Federal High Court on the subject. Somebody should help me. We hereby place the Lekki Concession Company, otherwise known as LCC, established as being complicit in the Lekki massacre. The owners of LCC, disclosed and undisclosed, the Nigerian police and the Nigerian army are on clear and unambiguous notice that we shall not be paying any toll on the Lekki-Ikoyi link bridge. It is an illegality to pay any toll. It is an illegality for Lagos State government to set up machinery to be collecting toll. You lost a case at the High Court. You refused to appeal it. And when it was brought to your attention, you said, no, we appealed. No, they struck it out. It was an application for relisting that was struck out, not the appeal. And we are saying the foundation for appeal does not exist. Your records have not been transmitted. You refused, failed, neglected, and abandoned your appeal. And you are talking and saying that you have an appeal. If you mean why you have lost. If you're a law-abiding, constitution-guided, constitutional respecting government, you have your head in shame and you don't want to go ahead and be collecting any toll. The LCC and Lagos State government are to also know that we shall be demanding an account of the monies, you see, illegally and fraudulently extorted from the residents of Lekki and other users of bridge since the appeal was thrown out. We are serving notice here, and we are serving notice here for them to know that all the money that has been collecting after the appeal has been thrown out, they will have to account for it. It's illegal money. It's illegal money. It's an act of executive lawlessness, rascality. Even the least recommendation of the panel, which is to rename the toll gate Ensas toll gate, have not been done by the state. Abi, is it the federal government that will come and do it for them again? Because they have been hiding under the federal government not to do what they are supposed to do. We are calling for accountability, not to even talk about the major ones like admitting and apologizing to the citizens for the massacre, identifying and prosecuting all officers involved, compensation of the victims and others. Yet they can do countless of meetings, press conferences and others just to open an illegal tolling location where the bloody government on committing serious crime against humanity. Was there a massacre at Lekki toll gate on 20th October 20? Yes. Let me repeat. Was there a massacre? As investigated, as found out by a panel set up by the Lagos State government, was there a massacre at Lekki toll gate on 20th October 2020?
Yes.
Have you gotten justice?
No.
Were there massacres in other parts of Lagos and Nigeria on October 2020?
Yes.
Have you gotten justice?
No.
The government of today, led by Muhammadu Buhari, have seriously failed the people. In fact, it seems like the government of today takes delight in taunting Nigerians, while a minister of education is purchasing region all over the country, including the Abuja, the FCT, where citizens are constantly being kidnapped. Citizens must rise up and play the policy, not like the way they have been doing it for the past years, but in a way that will set Nigerians from all their oppressors. And the way to do it is accountable politics. Citizens must recognize their status as citizens. Citizens must not collaborate, must not cooperate with the oppressors, must not yield submission with oppressors. You must demand for justice. The democracy itself needs to be fought for and needs to be protected. You can't leave governance to governors. You can't leave governance to presidents. You can't leave governance to House of Members of our Parliament. You can't leave government to chairman of local governments. Really against the people of Nigeria. And they have been doing that and getting away with it because the people do not rise up to against them. We demand justice for Ensas victims. Yes. We demand rehabilitation of the maimed and the wounded. We demand immediate release of. Yes. We stay. No to operation of the Lekki toll gate, Ikoyi Links Bridge toll gate. The Lekki toll gate should be. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. We shall always fight for our rights. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. We shall always fight for our rights. Aluta.
Continua.
Aluta.
Continua.
Victoria.
Asata. Sọ̀rọ̀ sókè.
Okay, quickly.
Yes.
Quickly.
Yes.
The last time I went to Lekki toll gate, they already started giving electronic tag for people, and they said that first they said they were going to open it that first, but what they were doing was test running. So they said they will open it on the 15th. Now, since we went there, they have not opened it, but they are still hoping that they will open it. A lot of people have gotten that tag. So what will now happen? So what will you do if this eventually goes on?
There will be protest. It's as simple as that. Democracy. If democracy are the people who have employed to do the work, they are refusing to do it, we will make them to do the work. You see? We are saying that the citizens of Nigeria should not lay back to defend and fight for their own rights. Angels do not come from heaven Malaika will not come from heaven. You see, demons will not come from the ground to fight for you. We have to do it. People primarily affected in this type of struggle are the residents of Lekki. The question we ask is that why must Lekki people be specifically targeted? What is so special about that road? What's so is this the road? Is it a road that was constructed by them with diamonds and gold? Nothing like that. It's just a normal road. It's part of things you are supposed to make life better for people. There's nothing special, something wonderful or fantastic that we say, this particular autobahn is so special that people need to be, and the toll is just unnecessary and just an oppression. And then on basis of it is the issue of law that we have raised. This is not just a matter of a looter for a looter's sake. We are saying that a government must promote, must defend the rule of law, must obey, and that we are talking of sovereignty belongs to the people, and everybody, including authorities, must be under the law. Lagos State has paraded itself as the center of excellence, cannot now be closing its eyes and be doing anyhow like touts, like Agbero. It's a center of excellence. They call it a center of aquatic splendor. Let it also be a center of legal splendor. You understand?
But are you aware that it's a concession to LCC, and they have to?
You are talking of concession. Please don't go there. We are talking of law here. What concession? What concession? When they were taken to court, when they lost, didn't they have brilliant lawyers who came to court? Or when the judge made the decision, don't they have the right to go to court? But because of this attitude of impunity, Awala Wambe, we are the one there, anyhowness, if I can use that English. That's why they didn't do anything. And they have, since 2000, case was filed 2014. 2017 was that against them 2014. 2014, 2017, 2017 out to 2022. That's 5 years. They were not expecting a day of accountability. And when you see government apparatus, you think you ascribe legality to it ordinarily. But what they have been doing there, since the appeal has been thrown out, is illegal. It's illegal. And they are junglifying. They are junglifying the Lagos State social space, and we shall not allow that. They are the lawbreakers. And you know there was somebody who met a critic in the Bible. He said, "Oh, you troublemaker, you troubler of Israel." And that critic said, you the king yourself, the Rex, you are the troubler of Israel. So it's the Lagos State government that is the lawbreaker in this instance. So I may not talk of any other things, but in this instance, on what you have said, you can see their reply, how shallow it was. They are just shilly-shallying. They are wallowing, just trying to come up with something to deceive the Nigerian people. But we have debunked it.
Apart from this, now what about all the monies they've collected?
We've said
will they return the money?
Not that will they return. They will return it. We'll send machinery in position. They will cough it out. We'll cough it out. You cough it out. When you ask,
shall be given.
That's what the Bible says. Ask, you shall be given. You said knock. We'll knock on their head. Knock.
So how will you do it? Are you
I'm a lawyer. We are lawyers. It's a process, political process, legal process, spiritual process, all revolutionary process. Anything for them to do the right thing. Yes.
Let me just also ask.
Yes, sir.
And I appreciate your response. Because beyond these legal issues that you raised up, the Lagos State government also talked about the fact that they are indebted and they have an obligation to pay this debt. And not just that, they also talked about the fact that a lot of people, workers who are actually dependent, whose livelihood are also dependent upon this, are also suffering. For the past 18 months, they had nothing. What's your reaction?
My reaction to this is ex nihilo, nihilo est. You can't bring something on nothing and expect to stand. Ex nihilo, nihilo est. They have an attorney general. Incidentally, an attorney general properly construed means attorney general for the people, not attorney general for the government. But in Africa, in places like Nigeria, attorney general is seen as attorney general for government. It's attorney general for the people. All these issues we are owing people we are doing this. Is it superior over a court order? If the answer is no, there's no need to go there. All what they were doing was illegal since the appeal has been. You lost a case at the High Court. You went to the Court of Appeal. You abandoned it. The court struck it out. You have 7 days first to do something. You didn't do it. You had another 14 days. You didn't do it. You just ignore it. You kept silent on it. You went on silent mode, and you continue collecting money from people, actually cheating people, defrauding people. You see, when you don't have the right, anything that government does must be by legal right. You understand? For example, you cannot just say, I declare holiday anyhow. The government has the power to declare holiday, so they can do it. When you don't have the right, when the court has interpreted that, oh, you are failing in this regard, then what are you doing? So what they have been doing is bamboozling people, and they want to continue to bamboozle people, and will resist it. Anyhow, all within the ambits of the law.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
So
Solidarity forever.